It feels like adding video to your podcast editing process turns a manageable task into an overwhelming full-time job, which is why we need a smarter system right now. The incredible news is you can actually edit your audio and video simultaneously, getting professional results without completely losing your sanity in the process. Welcome to Pod Sound School 2.0, where I, Studio Steve, a seasoned pro in both audio and video production, am about to guide you through a streamlined 7-step workflow designed to be the fastest and cleanest approach possible. Even if you use different software than Premiere Pro, the core editing principles I'm sharing today will apply universally, promising you significantly reduced editing time and vastly improved final product quality. Quick context tells us that for creators and business owners, the podcast needs to function as the central content engine for your entire marketing strategy moving forward. This absolutely requires a production workflow that consistently delivers high-quality video and audio, ideally achievable in just a few focused hours each week to maintain momentum. Because if the editing process bleeds into your personal life every single week, you simply will not stick with the publishing schedule you've set for yourself. Therefore, you must secure 2 massive wins. You need to record smarter upfront, and then you need to edit considerably faster when you get into post-production. Recording smarter begins with dedicated practice until your on-mic performance is so tight that those pesky filler words naturally begin to shrink away to almost nothing. For your gear, keep the kit simple. Invest in just one excellent 4K mirrorless or DSLR camera, ensure you have a couple of quality close-up microphones, and make sure you are recording in a quiet, clean room. Using just one 4K camera gives you the flexibility to capture a full wide shot that you can later zoom into for dynamic close-ups, which perfectly matches the exact workflow I am demonstrating for you today. Now we jump into step 1. Creating a multicam sequence, which starts by simply dragging all your captured files into your new project panel in your NLE. If you recorded both hosts in one long 4K take, you should duplicate that master clip twice, creating 2 separate sequences designed to become your individual close-ups. For each of those duplicates, you must right-click, select New Sequence from Clip, and then carefully adjust the scale and position settings within the Effect Controls panel until each sequence frames a natural close-up. The magic happens next when you highlight your original wide clip along with those 2 newly customized close-up sequences, right-click them all, and choose Create Multi-Camera Source Sequence to let the software do the heavy lifting. When you finally open that new multicam timeline, switch your view to the multicam monitor, and instantly you see all 3 shots perfectly mapped to the number keys 1, 2, and 3. This multicam cutting capability is genuinely the core trick that unlocks lightning-fast video podcast editing, because you can switch and change camera angles seamlessly while you are simultaneously editing the audio track. Moving to step 2, you must sync up all your audio by dragging only your high-quality dedicated microphone tracks directly onto the timeline where they belong. If you clapped or used a slate at the start, carefully line up that initial audio spike on the camera's built-in track with the much cleaner spike from your dedicated podcast microphones. After you test the playback to confirm everything sounds perfect, you can unlink the camera's video clip from its subpar onboard audio and permanently delete that unnecessary track. This is also the moment to link the remaining camera video to your clean audio track and immediately check if the camera's built-in audio needs any slight volume tweak before you move on to the next stage. For step 3, it's time to insert your show's professional introduction video right at the very beginning of your freshly synced edit. If your intro was created in a program like After Effects with a green screen, use the Ultra Key effect in Premiere to instantly remove that green, allowing for a smooth professional transition effect. Alternatively, you can opt for a simpler built-in transition, or perhaps create short, branded title cards in a tool like Canva, which take almost no time and make episodes feel much snappier. Always remember to keep that intro segment extremely tight, because viewers make their decision to stay or leave within the very first few seconds of watching your content. Step 4, the switch and cut, is where the multicam power truly merges with your editorial judgment as you watch the entire episode unfold before you. As you scrub through, focus on making those critical editorial trims, remove every filler word, tighten up long rambles, and trim out unnecessary tangents that don't serve the listener. Crucially, while you are making those audio edits, simply press your designated multicam keys like 1, 2, or 3 every single time you want the visual to change angles on screen. Because you are executing these changes within the multicam sequence, Premiere automatically renders those camera switches as permanent cuts for you as you work, saving massive time later on. Here is a pro tip: add very short musical stings or simple chapter cards that last only 3 to 5 seconds between major points to break the episode into digestible chunks. These natural pause points are fantastic because they also create perfect ready-made markers for when you need to quickly repurpose shorter clips from the main episode later on. For a standard 25-minute episode, I typically save between 30 to 40 minutes just by doing this single pass of cutting and switching, which is unbelievably fast compared to editing separate audio and video timelines. Before we finalize the edit, let's briefly discuss repurposing, because tools like Vizard become your absolute best friend right after the long-form edit is complete. Instead of manually exporting every potential highlight and guessing what might go viral, specialized AI can scan the finished recording, instantly find the most compelling moments, and auto-edit them into shareable, ready-to-post short clips. You can even set a specific posting schedule, and the system will automatically post those clips based on your desired cadence, keeping your social feeds constantly fed with fresh content. Step 5 is all about audio treatment, so open up the audio track mixer in Premiere and begin applying your necessary processing inserts to the master track. I personally use Waves plugins because they are reasonably affordable, especially during their frequent sales, and they deliver that professional, polished sound quality you are aiming for. My standard chain starts with a gate to kill any background room noise or mic bleed between spoken lines, followed by a noise reducer to eliminate persistent hiss. Next, introduce a de-esser specifically to tame those harsh, piercing S sounds, then use a warm compressor, perhaps modeled after an 1176, to give the voice a nice glue. Finish the dynamic processing with a gentle equalizer by applying a high-pass filter around 80 Hz, a small cut in the low mids, and a subtle boost around 3K Hz for presence. The final audio step is adding a limiter, like the classic Waves L1 maximizer, to bring the overall loudness into the correct broadcast-ready ballpark for consistent playback. If your hosts were mic'd properly up close, that initial gate setting saves you an enormous amount of time that would otherwise be spent manually chopping out audio bleed between takes. Step 6 is where you apply the color grade, remembering that you don't need complex cinematic looks, just a balanced and subtle grade to unify the footage visually. Use a single adjustment layer placed over all your interview tracks and dive into Lumetri color to correct any white balance issues, especially to cool down overly orange-looking skin tones. Follow that up by adding a touch of contrast, pumping in a little bit of vibrance for pop, and maybe a gentle vignette to subtly guide the viewer's focus right back to the speaker's face. For a quick professional skin polish, plugins like Beautybox can be incredibly effective, but remember that even a tiny amount of application is usually all you actually need to see a positive result. The ultimate goal here is achieving visual consistency across every single shot so that when you switch from a wide angle to a tight close-up, absolutely nothing feels jarring or out of place to the viewer. Finally, step 7 is export, where you should export your long-form master file in 4K resolution if that is what you originally shot in, as platforms like YouTube readily support it, and it future-proofs your hard work. But this is truly where the efficiency of the entire smart workflow pays off, because once the master is rendered, you deploy that AI clipper to automatically generate all your short-form assets for you. I seriously mean it. Instead of manually hunting for 10 to 20 clips, the AI analyzes the entire conversation, flags moments with high engagement like punchlines or key tips, and spits out ready-to-post reels and TikToks. It's not some kind of digital magic trick. It is simply smart automation designed to give you back hours of your valuable creative time every single week. You can then easily tweak those generated clips, utilize an auto-schedule feature to set your desired post frequency, and watch your dedicated content calendar automatically populate with planned uploads. When comparing this to other options, Descript is great for transcription, but its video export and clip selection can get clunky and sometimes unexpectedly pricey, while Headliner is better suited for basic audiograms than batch video creation. Capwing can handle many tasks, but tends to slow down considerably once you start trying to scale up your batch processing, whereas Vizard's sweet spot is exactly that, scaling and intelligent automation. Vizard handles finding the clips, formatting them perfectly for each specific platform, scheduling them out, and consolidating all that management into one central calendar, which is a massive game changer for any creator needing high volume without sacrificing quality. From the studio, here are a few last practical tips. Always keep your physical recording setup as simple as possible. Meticulously label every single clip and sequence so you don't get lost later, and learn to really trust that multicam switching feature. Use those musical stings and short title cards intentionally to break up your spoken content and create those crucial natural repurposing markers for your AI clipper. Finally, invest a little time in truly understanding a few core audio plugins like EQ and compression, because that foundational knowledge will save you countless hours of frustrating manual trimming down the road. So that is the complete 7-step rapid workflow. Create the multicam sequence, sync the clean audio, drop the intro, switch and cut while you review, treat the audio first, apply a light color grade, and then export before letting the smart repurposing tool take over. I genuinely want to know if you are going to try this new approach, because for anyone editing video podcasts, the Multicam plus the switch and cut method will absolutely save you literal hours of unnecessary work every week. And if your main goal is multiplying the reach of every single episode without getting buried under mountains of tedious manual uploading and clipping, let Vizard scan the episode to auto-create and schedule those shorts for you. This means you end up with professionally produced long-form content and a steady, automated stream of high-performing shorts without carrying that heavy mental load of constant manual juggling. If this entire walkthrough proved helpful to you today, please do me a quick favor by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing this with any podcaster friend who you know is currently drowning in their own edits. Drop a comment below right now and let me know. Are you firmly Team Premiere Pro, or are you loyal to some other powerful editing suite out there? Also, tell me honestly if you have ever attempted to use an automated clipper before and specifically describe what went wrong with that previous workflow so I can try to offer some practical fixes for you. Until our next session together, the mission remains clear. Keep your initial recording setup simple, keep your edits as tight as humanly possible, and always keep your repurposing efforts highly automated.